Now let's turn to David Trim for a look at Adventist history. This week, a tourist shares the Adventist faith in Japan, 6 years ahead of the first missionaries to the country.
Welcome to This Week in Adventist History. On July 14 in 1908, Healdsburg College, which had been founded in 1882, closed its doors for the last time. But 14 months later, in September 1909, it reopened as Pacific Union College on a new location in Angwin, California. On July 16 in 1890, Stephen Haskell, who had visited Japan, wrote to church leaders from Hong Kong to report that he had baptized one man in Japan. This was the first Seventh-day Adventist baptism in Japan. But not until more than 6 years later, in November 1896, did the first Adventist missionaries sent to Japan arrive in the country. W.C. Granger, who had been president of Healdsburg College, and T.H. Okahira, a native of Japan and a former Healdsburg student. Despite its relatively long history, the church in Japan faces severe challenges today, and it needs your prayers. On July 16 in 1935, A.F. Raposo and his family, Portuguese missionaries, arrived in the small port of Brava. They were the first Seventh-day Adventist missionaries to the Cape Verde Islands. Today there are some 7,000 Adventists in the small country, worshipping in over 30 churches. And on July 19 in 1863, the Minnesota Conference, which 9 months earlier, in October 1862, had become the 6th Seventh-day Adventist Conference, reorganized, adopting the model constitution recommended by the founding General Conference session 2 months earlier. That was This Week in Adventist History.